Bridgerton Network.
Oh, what's the show we do?
You're remembering from the 10 different shows that you do.
I don't do it. Well, two. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Santonio.
And it's Mo.
You guys can never make up.
Here.
Yes,
I forgot. We treat him as a guest now. We don't give him like proper status.
Nah, see, it's weird because Mo always hesitant. He's like, it's almost as if he's waiting for me to.
No, it's not scared. It's a program reaction after doing like,
dude, we've done almost
shows
a year without Salah around for most of the time.
I know, but like he's there now, so like muscle memory just kicks in.
I get it. It's the presence that I have, Mo.
Respect.
I completely understand.
Respect.
Yeah. It's the same presence we have when you play Street Fighter with me.
I try not to beat you 5-0. You're absolutely right. That's the.
I am bloody missing playing Street Fighter. I tell you that now, man. My God. Anyway.
Are you missing it enough to invest in a console and buy the game? No.
Well, you know what? Well, no, you're right.
You could. You got to. Well, no. You ain't gonna buy it, are you?
Wait, what's that? Buy what?
I was gonna say, Sammy's got the PS5. Just need to. You could probably get it cheap digitally.
My nephew's actually said that he doesn't never play. The only thing, all these people like are saying, "Oh, I want a PS5. I really want one." And my nephew, who's got it, only watches.
Sell it. If he's not using it, then just get a new one later. Just sell this one for like.
Yeah, but he's not gonna do that, is he? He's just watching Netflix on it. That's
ridiculous. Get money.
Yeah. He didn't say to me I could borrow it, but yeah.
You could just buy it for your PC, for your laptop.
Oh yeah. It will run on this. Anyway.
So, guys, it's been happening. It's been a while. Yes, sorry, dudes. We didn't do an episode last week. Well, we actually recorded one, but due to technical difficulties on my end, the laptop just gave up the ghost. Just couldn't handle it. I decided, fuck it. So we had to skip a week. So we are sorry. Apologize. But we're back now. So what's been happening?
Yeah, man. I was so disappointed. I was. I went onto my phone. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for another episode.
Your friend.
At the movie.
Never support your
And there wasn't
friend.
nothing there. I was so upset, man.
You know, I'm falling for it
the whole night.
And I was falling for it.
Didn't sleep the whole night, Eddie. I don't sleep as it is.
You could have just phoned Eddie up and said, "Where's the podcast, Eddie?"
Yeah,
it's not like you gotta wait.
Reenacted it.
He could have just sent it to you.
He doesn't pick up. He's got these. He has these dodgy Chinese phones, so he doesn't pick up.
I don't like picking up my phone. I can't. So what you guys been watching? I'm looking forward to Silence ones because that's
Go on, son.
All right, look, I've actually been watching quite a lot, right?
Can I ask something?
Yeah, go on.
Interesting stuff, please.
Are you now in the stage of your life where like before, you wouldn't have watched half the stuff that you watch now, and you wouldn't have watched it all the way to the end? Are you at that stage in your life now, where the only thing you do is like watch TV?
You know what? It's so strange. It's like, what do we do today? Let's watch TV. It's like, let's watch another episode of so and so. But I have been watching quite a few things, right? So I'm not going to name everything because there's a lot.
I was going to say, he's written it down as well.
Right, I've written it down. Yeah. So I want to start off with a show that I think you guys, I'm sure you guys have watched. I don't know how far you're into it. Is Schitt's Creek.
Ah, yes, I have tried to watch that several times.
Yes. Now, interestingly, we don't have a show that we could sit down and just throw on when you're eating food, right?
Yeah.
We don't have that show. So I came across...
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What's wrong with you?
Yes. Well, anyway, we came across Schitt's Creek, so I thought to myself, you know what? Let's sit down and watch this. I'm enjoying this show. It's, I think it's very, very good. It's so weird, man, seeing the mum from Home Alone in it. She's aged so much.
Do you actually find it funny?
It's okay. So it's not one of the. It's not one of those shows that you laugh out loud. Right? What's that?
People age.
Yeah, but he's saying she's aged really well.
But she's aged like.
No, he said
when
weird.
I saw her.
Oh right, I thought you said she'd aged well.
Yeah, no, she's well. She's 8. Anyway. But anyway, how do I find this show? Yeah, it's all right. It's a show that you can just throw on, you can get some food, and you can stick with it. I'm not at any point, I'm like 12 episodes in the first season. I'm not at any point that I want to sort of switch off and not watch it at all. So it's all right. It's a good throw-on show.
People rave about this show, and I've tried to sit down and watch it twice now. I think I've like watched 6 episodes in total, but I'm just not getting to the point where I'm thinking that it's really funny.
I don't fit look, I haven't seen Sunny in Philadelphia, but I've seen a few episodes here and there with you guys, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's seriously funny. This is like okay funny. This is like above Friends humor funny, if you know what I mean. You know,
Above Friends.
Huh?
Above Friends.
Yeah, above Friends. You know, like Friends is like very like sort of you laugh at every small little thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this is slightly a few layers beyond that. So it's a good show, right?
I'm actually surprised that Mo don't like it, considering the love of bad sitcoms that he loves.
I don't know. Maybe I'll watch another 20 episodes and it might suddenly kick in. But what I was going to say, Salim, maybe try out on Netflix Superstore.
I was about to say, Superstore is not funny. I watched it and it was just like...
It is, man. It is. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but it's very entertaining.
Another movie actually I came across, which is actually it's pretty new, is White Tiger.
Yes,
Yeah.
we could talk about it again because we spoke about it last week, and yeah.
Oh, have you guys all seen it then?
Oh, crikey! Yes, that episode hasn't gone up, right? Yeah,
exactly. So,
well, I mean, if you guys want to discuss this, that'd be great.
Let's go.
What did you think, Salem?
So here's the thing. I'm liking this direction that it seems like Netflix is taking with the Bollywood or Indian content without the songs and all that.
Yeah, it's grounded. Yeah? It's real stories about realistic people.
Yeah, it's based off a book, if I'm not mistaken.
It is indeed.
Priyanka Chopra.
Apparently, I've been told by people who have read the book is really funny, and the film is not.
Funny?
Yeah.
Oh, funny, yeah.
Kicking people below you in status away from you is funny. I guess that's different humor in India. That's
no, Eddie. It's more. Well, it's not in India because there's people who've written it here. It's more about probably the way it's been put across and the situations how they're presented. Whereas in the film, it's very serious.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are moments of humor in it, like quite a lot actually. At that, I think. Yeah.
I don't remember there being many.
All right, well,
remember, Salem finds things slightly different sort of humor.
No, I could
telling poor people to go away. Like,
look at that poor person.
Get away.
No, not at all. But
look at my Yu-Gi-Oh
moments
cards
in it that you could see that were kind of funny.
We're going to kill your family. This is hilarious.
Anyway, so
do you think that guy was? Did you always sympathize with that lead character, knowing that some of the decisions he made, even though he was ultimately a decent guy, but he definitely made decisions which possibly could leave his family dead, his grandmother, his brother, because he abandoned them pretty much.
All right, yeah, he abandoned them, but what is he supposed to do?
That is true. But
like,
still,
what if he wants to excel? What is he supposed to do? He's already been pushed back. I mean, look at the beginning of the film where you can see that he was gifted in some way or another, but pushed back.
Yeah,
because of his dad.
Yeah, it's not that he was gifted or anything, but essentially those folks they were dead already, right? Like the grandmother, she was never going to do anything with the rest of her life. His brother was essentially trapped and going to end up just like the grandmother, right?
At least get on the phone and say, move. I know they wouldn't, but at least give them a chance.
You're talking about probably in a village where no one's probably got a phone, right?
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Carrier pigeon. I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, you've watched a lot more, obviously, Indian cinema than I have, Salem. So are there a lot of films that deal with the caste system that focus on people who don't have aspirations to be anything more than just basically a slave to somebody who's higher up than them?
So so there's a lot of, loads of films that touch upon the caste system, but the one thing that I'm picking up more and more is that those films don't really feel like, unless you got your A-level actors such as your Salman Khan or your Shah Rukh Khan and those guys, it doesn't feel like they're really, those films get really truly,
Realistic.
it's like they're not really pushed all that much. It really
Oh.
doesn't feel like that. But now that you're seeing all this content on Amazon and Netflix and all that, you know, everyone gets to see this sort of stuff because so widely available, and it just opens your eyes to like how friggin' crazy this shit actually is.
I wonder where they found that lead actor, because he was good. Very believable in his role. Like,
Yeah, I've never seen him in anything before.
Yeah.
Did what I found while watching this film, I enjoyed it immensely. Let me put that out there. I felt incredibly guilty while I watched that show, right? Sorry, the movie,
Yeah.
because you're kind of seeing like this abject level of poverty, and you suddenly like being hit in the face by like how little some people have, and then you look around your room, right, and you got like this big flat screen TV, and you got like all these movies and all these kind of things, and you're kind of just thinking, my life nowhere near sucks as much as sometimes I make it out to.
And I was thinking that as much as, yeah, you're right, we do have so much that we take for granted that a lot of people don't have. A part of me wasn't as feeling guilty, mainly for the fact that their position was almost self-inflicted, like they willing, like he even refers to it, that people are willingly hens in a farm, like willingly putting themselves in this position that they're subservient. They don't.
But that's the program, right?
Yes, they're programmed.
Yeah. That's the program. It's like, okay, so from birth, you're told, depending on which caste you belong to, right?
You're low.
That, hey, you've got to treat this person who's got money in a certain way. Yeah. You've literally, he's like a god to you, and you've got to do everything that he or she says. And it's as simple as that.
Let me ask you, you've been there quite a bit, so you've seen a lot of this shit firsthand. What's your, how did you treat them? How did you feel? Were you sympathetic when were you like that son who came from New York, came home to visit his dad? Were you, first time you went there, you were all like giving money to all the kids and helping them, but by week 2, you were just like kicking them away, just get the fuck away from me.
Well, all right. So this is for me, it was.
You didn't say no.
I just, when they would come to me, when anyone that was poor, because again, I met people that told me their side of the story as well. Apparently, the government gives them, some people a home who are, living on the streets, but they sell it and they come back to the streets. So like, I came across a number of people that were telling me this, and I was like, okay. And these people that were telling me, they weren't particularly rich. They were just like, normal folks.
But home isn't a job though, so maybe they have to make that money in it to feed themselves.
It's again, this some of these people are just so used to it that they have no issues in sleeping on the roads or whatever.
So it's their fault.
The question you asked, was I horrible? Was I disrespectful? No, I was very nice, Eddie.
The pause. Oh my God.
He's remembering the flashbacks of the things that you did.
I was very nice.
The other thing that's very apparent in this film that they demonstrate really well is how you can actually become accustomed to all of this, right? So you see like the son who comes from New York at the beginning of the movie, he's very much like, oh, don't talk to them like this. He's like, treat him like a proper human being. But as the film goes on, like he falls into that trap himself.
Yeah, it takes it all for granted.
Yeah, but they tell you as well. They literally tell you, do not, even when I remember when I got into a cab in India, the drivers and everybody told me, oh, those people, when they come to you, do not give them any money, do not treat them nicely or whatever, just be aggressive and rude. That's what they were telling me.
And you did?
Yeah, at times I had to be. That doesn't mean to say I wasn't nice as well, Eddie.
Let's let that sit there for a minute.
Anything else, Salom?
No, I look, the film I thought is a good film. I think Priyanka Chopra produced it, didn't she, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, wasn't it much? I guess she probably did.
Rajkumar Rao, is it the main actor in it? The son that comes from America. He's a very, very good actor. He's like a sort of a superstar in Bollywood. But yeah, I thought it was a good.
What'd you rate it?
What's that?
Would you rate it?
3.5.
Okay, I think I only gave it 3 originally, but I'm gonna go 3.5 because even though I thought it was kind of slow to get going, I don't think it was
Oh.
satisfying at the end.
See,
I still
that's what-
enjoyed it overall. I still
No, it
3.5
was,
still.
it was a good film all the way. Oh, but I'd give it a 3.5. It wasn't quite a 4. I'd say 3.5 is accurate.
Yeah, I feel that it was at points for me as well, slightly a bit slow. It's weird, right? When I'm watching these, I'm waiting for the song number to kick in. It's like
Would you have given it a 4 if there were songs in it?
I would have fucking given it a 5 if there was songs in it.
Right. What else have you been watching?
Right. Okay. Now, here's the thing, right? You know what? Sometimes I think to myself, like, how married life is, right? It's all strange, right? Especially with the TV world, right?
Has
And
all
my
your
wife,
problems
she-
been answered now that you're married? Because I know this is
What's
like
that?
your whole life was gearing towards being married. It's like
No,
did everything
but what-
fall into place now and everything happy.
No, no. What I'm about to say is that my wife, although she likes her Asian content, she introduces me, in actual fact, forced me to watch this show, right? And I was like, nah, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to. She goes, no, we have to watch it. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I fucking binge through the Good Morning Show.
Oh,
On
that
Apple.
Have you guys seen this?
People keep telling me that it's a good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
to watch it.
it won awards. I remember at the year that it came out,
It
Emmy
is-
or something. So
Yeah, dude, guys, it's fucking brilliant. It's really, really, really good. I literally said to her, can I want to watch the next episode? I want to watch the next episode. It was like that for me.
So had she already seen it?
Yeah.
Right.
She had already seen it. She kind of forced me to watch it. There's a few other shows that she's forcing me to watch at the moment, but I was like, nah, you know what? I don't want to watch it. But this
what are you
show
watching it on?
it's on
I know it's on Apple, but what
yeah,
device are you watching it?
Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
So she's got an iPhone, so she gets like,
The
you know,
free,
Apple
yeah.
TV, yeah. So but yeah, guys, honestly,
But
check
she actually
this
got a
show out.
box.
What's
So,
that?
She actually got a box. That's what I'm asking because I know Mo,
No,
you
no,
were
no,
saying
through
that.
the app on the phone.
So
Oh,
you're
you watch
sitting
it
there
on your
watching it
phone?
on the phone.
No, stream it to the TV, right?
Oh, sling it across that.
Yeah, because you got the account, and you know you just download Apple TV onto your phone, onto your TV, and away you go with it. But I can. Look, all I'm going to say is, if I don't know what my number one show was in 2019, I think it might have been The Boys. For me, this would have been my number one show.
Shut up.
I'm telling you now. I'm
Bro.
telling you guys now. This show is friggin' brilliant. Brilliant.
I'm gonna check it. I'm on that bold claim. I'm gonna check it out, and if it's
Check
rubbish,
Mm.
you're gonna refund me for the time.
Check it out.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll keep. That's my
Jennifer
list.
Aniston is better than Homelander.
No.
what you're
That's a
saying.
different sort of show. But I just, for me, it was well written, amazingly directed. The characters in this film were so friggin' mind-blowingly good.
The show.
Just loved it. Everything about it. Yeah. So
Okay.
check it out. Anyway, what about you guys? What have you been watching?
Well,
So are we going to talk about Songbird again?
yeah, why not?
So, Songbird, Michael Bay production, essentially playing on the fears of everybody on the planet right now. It's set in a not too distant future, 2-3 years from now, where COVID has mutated. It's now COVID-23. It is so lethal that unless you're immune to it, you can't even step outside of your home.
Yep.
Yeah, it's that bad. Like literally, like if you go outside, you got to like fucking burn your clothes and shit before you come back inside. It's like that bad. So the whole thing is about couriers who are immune, who deliver stuff to you, and all the communication is done through like people talking on their phones and all that kind of stuff.
But he has a girlfriend who we presume is also, susceptible to this strand of COVID. So he's kind of trying to figure out a way that he can falsify her immunity in order to get her out and they can go off and live.
Yeah, you basically
Together
get
somewhere.
you get like a bracelet that you get to wear that if you're immune.
Which I could see coming into effect. Not too
Well,
distant future.
yeah, of course it would, right? Like a COVID passport and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you guys? How did you? At any stage were you watching this? Because I seen the trailer and think to yourself, "Shit, man! Like we maybe one day could be facing something like this."
That's the whole reason that I kept watching the film, right? Because the film itself is not great, but it's way better than that piece of shit that we had to watch the week before. That Over the Wire, Under the Wire, Outside the Wire, whatever it was called.
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
Because you know, as you're watching
relate.
it, like you could relate to it. That's exactly it. You're like thinking like one day my life could be like this.
Yeah, like if there was a Spanish flu level disease, then this would be kind of what would happen. This is how we would live. They'd lock everything down. You wouldn't leave for God knows how long. So it's not that far out of the realm of possibility, man. So
yeah,
watch it, take note. But as a movie, it weren't great.
But it was interesting to know that even with all the restrictions that Bay and his team were probably under, they still managed to make the movie look stylish, right? It didn't have that real cheap shot like it made not on a limited budget, but like a lot of these lockdown films look really cheap and don't really have a lot of artistic
but I
productions.
Lockdown worked, even though it had a more grounded style to it. I still think it worked as a film.
Yeah, I mean, it worked as a film, but it didn't look like a stylish production.
It didn't have the superficial cinematography.
Yeah, exactly. That's where Bay excels, right?
This looked better than a TV show. But the thing is, I wouldn't have been satisfied watching this, even though I watched it at home. If this was in a cinema, it would not work.
Oh, I think that's the whole point, though, isn't it? Like you watch it at home because what's happening outside is what's happening outside.
yeah.
So it seems like
2 stars.
Yeah, I would have thought that you would have given that. Mo?
Yeah. 2 stars is probably being generous as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a bad film, but it's not like particularly entertaining. Gladiator. I watched that Friday night, right? I decided I want to watch an old school action epic. I put on the extended edition that we were talking about, Eddie.
Yep.
It's just short of 3 hours. My God, I forgot how good that film
still holds up.
It is absolutely, and even the fact that the running time is almost 3 hours, it just flies by. If you've never seen the extended edition, I would thoroughly recommend it because there is a whole bunch of scenes that they add. There's like whole subplots that I'm thinking, do I not remember this? Am I misremembering? Was this actually here? Because they work so well, you kind of think, how did he chop these out?
So what's the original running time of the film?
The original runtime is, so I think there's only like about 15 minutes different, right? So I think like the original was like just over 2.5 hours, 2 hours 35 minutes, and this one is like 2 hours 50.
Yeah, I think slightly more stuff with the sister and slightly more stuff with him being a slave.
Yeah. So there's a stuff with the sister, right, where she's meeting with the senators and they're basically planning to kill Lucius. Is it Lucius? No, it's not Lucius. It's the Commodus.
Commodus.
Yeah. And a few little bits and pieces here and stuff. And it just all goes to just make just a really cool package, man. 20 years on, that film is just still
I don't get why some people have kind of turned against it.
Really?
Because it was such a cool film when it came out that a lot of people have kind of started to be like, it wasn't that great. It's not a great film.
No. I know what those people are talking about.
Do you still remember the first time you watched that? Yeah, we watched that at the Acton Cinema, and my God, was so blown away by it. But I've never seen the extended. So I take it this one you're watching a Blu-ray version.
Yeah,
right?
So I got the 4K. It's almost 2 years ago actually. About I think it was Easter like 2018 or 2019 rather. Sorry, that I got it, and I'm just getting around to watching it now.
You know, another film, sorry, just to tear off slightly in a same direction, but I want to see the extended version of The Kingdom. Everyone tells me if you're going to watch it, watch the extended version.
Yeah.
You know what I got through the post today, Salim?
Oh, did you?
The Ultimate Edition, all the way from America.
It is a lot better. And I think the main difference with that one is Eva Green. Her story arc in the original theatrical version makes no sense. She switches halfway through and you're just like, why did that happen? But in the extended, you see all this other stuff. I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, and I don't think you have more, have you?
No, I haven't. No, I've never seen it. But apparently it's got like 45 minutes worth of extra footage.
I don't know if it's that much.
No, it is. I was watching some of the special features today.
Okay, so
yeah,
but a lot of that is I think the only real biggest difference is it makes Eva Green's arc make way more sense. So it's good.
Right. Well, Mo, I might want to borrow that off you then.
And I did attempt to watch Finding Ohana. Do you remember we watched a trailer for that a couple of weeks ago?
Shit, I didn't even know it was out.
Goonies in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost about 45 minutes. There was nothing particularly wrong with that film. if I had children, I think I would have probably been more invested in sitting and watching it with them, because it does look like a fun kids film, but that's literally what it is. It is like a kids film.
Pure through and through.
Yeah.
So you weren't intrigued by the culture to get to know what's going on in Hawaii and how people live?
No.
No.
I decided to turn it off and watch something else,
Okay.
because it's not about that either. And Barbarian. So I've got 2 episodes left. I've got to say, Eddie, even if I had watched this, I don't think this would have made my top 5. It's a good show, but there's nothing in it that's elevating it to epicness, unless that's going to come in the last 2 episodes.
I can't remember.
Because it's quite a simple story, really. They don't really sort of dwell beyond like their own village. Maybe they go off to the next village and start a ruckus or try to unite them into fighting.
I just like the fact that he was in Latin, and sometimes when I watch things, I put myself in the position of the lead character, so that kind of gets me all caught up in it, kind of fantasizing that I'm.
Yeah, I was getting a bit worried about all the serial killer stuff that you were watching for a little while. So yeah.
Did you watch Night Stalker?
Huh?
What's Night Stalker?
No, yeah, I do want to watch that.
Yeah.
Right. So what do we want to do here? We've got Expanse and WandaVision, and we're supposed to also be doing our revisit of the MCU.
Do the MCU at the end. We're going to be reflecting, guys. We're doing a rewatch of the whole MCU movie. So we're going to be talking Iron Man and Incredible Hulk.
We are going to be doing, it's a double today, but it's one from next week.
Yeah.
What have you been watching, Ed?
Nothing.
He never. He's like you now. He never watches anything.
I just talked about review. We just reviewed a bunch of stuff I watched.
That's from about 2 weeks ago, Eddie.
Yeah, that's why I knew, because we didn't do it last week. So I figured, what's the point? It piles up too much.
Right. Should we get into WandaVision or Expanse?
Let's do WandaVision.
WandaVision. Have you been watching this, Salim?
I'm up to date.
Oh, interesting. And
yes,
you actually okay. So we haven't heard from you about how you thought about the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. I was so I said to my wife, look, she doesn't like superhero stuff, right? So I just said to her, listen, I've got to watch this, and you have to watch it with me, because you're not going to go in the other room, right? So you got to watch it with me. Sat down, and she was laughing. She was enjoying this show, and I was like, this is not like her to enjoy something like this. Like she was saying,
it's not
funny
though.
Why?
The simulated sitcoms were not funny.
I found them funny.
I didn't mind it, Eddie. I did not mind it. So okay, fine. It wasn't funny as laugh out loud, but I don't think it was supposed to be super funny anyway.
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to be
charming. It was charming.
Yes.
It wasn't supposed to be funny. It's emulating those 50 sitcoms.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think it did a great job.
Yeah, but when you're watching
they did a fantastic job of that.
Superficially, but in the writing and the acting of the comedy.
Yeah, but if you go and watch like I Love Lucy, today, that show's not particularly funny.
But don't forget, we are seeing this from Wanda's vision. Like her vision is exactly what she kind of maybe saw. What?
A joke's a joke. It either works or it
doesn't. I think it's just it's intriguing. It plays with the nostalgia. It reminds you of what when you were young and you were watching all those 50 shows, right? After school or whatever.
I'm that old, yeah.
No, not in the 50s. We would have those would have been those would have been the reruns when we were at school, right? We were watching things like Bewitched and
don't get me wrong,
I Love Lucy, and
I was intrigued at the little nuggets they were dropping in here and there, but the overall tapestry of the sitcom setup and the laugh track and the jokes just didn't.
I bet you, like a year from now, you'll rewatch it and you'll be like, you know what? I thought they were great.
Okay.
But this week, Eddie, ask it.
Oh, go on, son. Keep going.
No. Answering your question, so far when we originally watched this, well, like we're watching the first 2 shows, we really did enjoy it all the way through, and now it's getting really exciting. But
it's episode 4 now, isn't it? Yeah.
What's that?
We're on episode 4 now, isn't it?
Yes. So episode 4 just happened.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think if we want to talk about, I think we're going to talk about episode 4, right?
Yeah.
Because last week you guys didn't do.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about 3 as well. 3, it really kind of, once it kind of clicked with when Wanda started to this, who are you? How did you know I had a brother? All of that stuff. Then it really, the intrigue started. And this episode, this week, I think it all finally starts to connect together. And it's like, okay, Now we're getting answers. That was what was frustrating to me. It was just like they were just playing on our.
Didn't you expect that though, Eddie?
You've like forgot what it's like to watch TV. Do you remember those shows where you'd watch 22 episodes a season, and you'd wait 4 seasons and you'd still get no answers?
But they weren't Marvel, so I wanted the connection.
No, the Marvel ones are even used to be worse. Remember Agents of Shield, how it began?
I was alright with that.
But didn't you expect it to take this gradual, slow process?
It was slower than I expected.
And don't forget, there's an audience out there that loves that stuff, the old stuff.
No, there's a majority of the audience haven't got a clue. They're kids. They watch this and like, what the fuck is this black?
Yeah, but we're being actually told there is a person who's never watched superhero stuff, doesn't like it, sat down, watched it, really enjoyed it.
She's not 10 years old though, is she?
Doesn't matter if they're 10 years old
is she?
or not. Like they managed to reach a new person who was never a fan before.
That is true, and they did succeed.
Yeah,
against my expectations. But this week, I like that things really starting to come together. They started connecting in characters from they had Randall Park, who was in Ant-Man.
Yep,
he was the FBI guy there. They brought him in.
Kat Denning from Thor, and interesting, the actress who played the character Monica Rambeau, I think. Yeah, looking at her name, can't even pronounce it. Is it Rambo? Is that what they keep saying? Is her name Rambo?
Yeah, Rambo. Yeah.
It's not spelt that way, but it sounds like that's what they're saying.
But she's the daughter of the best friend of Captain Marvel.
Yep.
So we saw her in Captain Marvel as a little kid, and now she's all grown up. So they're folding in Captain Marvel and that lore into it, and then we're getting to know Sword as well. Finally, the whole story behind them that kind of takes over from Agents of Shield. So it's like, yeah, where's it gonna go, and where are the big new characters gonna come as well?
It's, you know what? It's almost, this is like, it's not like you're watching a TV show, right? It's almost like you're watching a new Marvel movie, like in like half-hour chunks.
Yeah. It does keep surprising me how short the episodes do seem to.
Oh yeah, that's because they are short episodes. They're not 42 minutes an episode.
And every time that end credit comes on, I keep thinking that's the opening credit. Like we just watched little monologue, epilogue.
Do you always think that there is some sort of scene after the credits?
Yeah,
because it runs for 5 minutes. It's like 5 minutes.
The whole chunk.
Like literally, the amount of times we've just, even though we know nothing's gonna happen, we still continue to watch it just in case. Because that's sometimes a lot of the time Marvel does do that, right? In their movies anyway.
Yeah. How clever was this week's episode? Literally, like you see everything that happened in the first 3 episodes from a reverse point of view.
Yes.
Oh, it was absolutely superb the way they've done that.
Loved it.
Yeah. And the way that they just plug in a TV to like pick up the signal.
Yeah, tube TV. You can't use a flat screen. Interesting. Love it. So yeah, it was cool seeing everyone back. And I just want no more answers. Give me more.
The reason it would be a tube TV is I'd imagine a modern TV doesn't have an analog tuner in it.
Interesting. So anything else you guys want to say?
No. Well, I just want to ask a question, Eddie. You know, you're probably the best person to answer this. So is this actually based off a comic? Or
the broad strokes of it, yeah. But they've changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I guess the other thing that's worth saying is now we know that everybody that's in the town is pretty much there against their will, right?
Yeah,
they're
basically the cast.
Yeah.
Makes up sitcoms.
And the fact that Vision's got a big hole in his head, right? So is she literally living with like a dead body?
I don't think. Well, she could. I'm presuming that she's not dragging him around. It's just those are just visions in her head that she's manifested him some way. But yeah, enjoying it.
All
Two
right.
thumbs up.
Definitely. Expanse.
Not a whole. We're talking about the last week's episode, right?
Last week wasn't much because it was mainly what's his name? Amos and his shuttle. No, it was mainly about Naomi kind of floating around and
that was the previous week.
Yeah, the previous week. So not really much to get into that. But this week, him and that chick, Amos and what's the chick?
Clarissa. Is it Mal? Clarissa Mal?
What does he call her? He's got a little.
He calls her Peaches.
Peaches.
Now he goes like, why does he call you Peaches? Why do you call him Timmy?
They're gonna end up hooking up, man. They're gonna be a couple. Ain't no way they can't do.
This week's was brilliant, right? It's just the one thing that came to mind though is because everyone is dispersed, like people aren't really getting time to do anything. Like James Holden, or whatever his name is, like he's literally just been on the bridge of a ship the whole time. Cass and Bobby have just been strapped into that ship for like how many episodes now?
No. Again, must be relaxing because literally they're sitting their asses. That's a
Relaxing, maybe boring from like an actor's point of view.
Yeah, I get. They probably want to get out there and.
Yeah, I mean, Amos is the you know, his character is getting like all the stuff to do, right? I tell you what, that was one of the best filmed firefights I think I've seen in like years, because it really felt like anyone could get shot at any time. Like it was so unclear as to what was like where all the fire was coming from. It just felt so tense.
Yeah, they do their space fights really well. I haven't really seen ones that.
No, I'm not talking about the space fight. I'm talking about, you know, the firefight on the ground.
Oh, with the security.
Yeah. And Amos was exactly right. He goes like, you know, they will be back when he showed the mercy.
That frustrated me. Like, why'd they listen to her?
Yeah.
Why?
But then did you see what she did? Like, you don't see it, but like she killed all those people. And one guy goes, she like killed all these guys like by herself.
Yeah, remind me not to piss her off.
Yeah.
But she was willing to do that in that moment. So why was she so fucking, no, don't shoot them, leave them, let them be. Should have just let them kill them then. Made no sense. Back against the wall.
But, and all the stuff that's happening at the UN, right? With the fact that they decided that it wouldn't take down a civilian base, and then they go and do it, and then like half the people quit the government.
They followed her, and now it's gonna be her versus him, and for ultimate power of Earth.
Yeah. Oh, so exciting! I think there's only one episode left now.
No,
of the season. I think there's like, because that was episode 9, so episode 10 I think is the last one listed on IMDb.
Shit. What are you looking up, son?
I'm just like looking at some stuff of The Expanse. That's all.
Just go watch it, man.
Right.
I'll come back to it. That's my biggest problem with this frigging show, man. It's like you guys are saying that you got to sit through all that TV.
Not all that TV. I'm saying 3 episodes, man. That's not all that TV.
3 or 4 episodes. Once you understand who everybody is and what the stakes are and the politics of the whole thing, then it all just comes together.
Yeah. Right. So we've already been going for a while. So should we race through what is left here? Right. Trailers quickly.
Oh, we don't need trailers. Let's skip trailers this week. There's nothing major. Is there anything we have to watch?
Yeah. Silk Road and the Courier.
I didn't watch it.
There's didn't have to watch anything this week. We didn't even do the trailers.
Nah, it's a mess.
Right. So Silk Road looks fantastic, right? That is, do you know what Silk Road is? Do you remember the darknet guy who was selling all those drugs and making millions? Yeah. Well, they made a film about him. And it looks pretty good. The Courier is Benedict Cumberbatch, who essentially has to go to Russia and play a spy. The trailer looks great for this film. And then I also added The Mighty Ducks, because I know that's a film that you really like, and they've just brought out a trailer for the TV series.
Already? We're like talking about it a month ago.
They've got a TV series. And I added a trailer for Bridgerton because I wanted you to watch that, because the very first piece of news on our thing.
I know what it is. You can't not know what it is. It's like being a monster since like December.
I'd not even heard of it. No, I was like, that's wrong. I had heard of it. I'd seen the trailers, but because it doesn't look like my type of show, I don't home in on it.
So my wife has seen this.
So I was actually expecting you to say, like, we're gonna like be watching Bridgerton.
I half was expecting you to be like, yeah, I watched it. Oh, it's pretty good.
No, we tried. I tried to watch the first episode with her, and I said to her, listen, sweetheart, you can watch this by yourself because I can't get through this.
Let's transition into that news then. Bridgerton becomes Netflix's biggest show ever.
So there are a couple of caveats to that. So one thing that they do say is the previous bigger show was The Witcher, and they go, obviously the one thing to remember is the audience that Netflix has now is even bigger than what they had for The Witcher. You know, the pandemic has played part of that. It also only counts.
But melodrama is always going to trump action. All of that.
I wonder if this now sets a dangerous precedent, right? As in, they go, well, actually, We don't need to spend like a lot of money on these big sci-fi or fantasy epics. We could just do it with costume drama.
This wouldn't have been cheap. Those costumes are very
Yeah,
expensive.
but it's not going to be as expensive as like doing all the CGI and those sets that don't exist, right?
You know what? I wonder how much more or less expensive it was, though. Because
It's expensive, but it's going to be cheaper than doing like a Witcher type show, right?
My issue with Bridgerton, even from the trailers, is that it's the thing that some people have championed. The thing that some people love about the show is what I can't get into, what my brain just can't accept. Is that it's a fantasy world. It kind of it's based in, I don't know, antique, I don't know what period it is, like Victorian or Edwardian age, whatever the fuck it is. But it decides that screw it, we're not gonna be stuck to what the racial laws were of the time. We're just gonna be like anyone. We could cast anyone, black, Asian, whatever. Everyone's all together, whatever the status, doesn't matter. And some people love that they can just watch it and see reflections of themselves. But for me, it's too fantastical. It's like, especially when you grow up in this country and you know how the hierarchy is, especially back then. I just can't accept seeing
have any impact. I mean, the show.
Duchess.
The show is not pretending that it's like giving you a history lesson.
So Eddie, why do you say that? Because that's what Maham said to me. She said that it was difficult for her to relate to something that's supposed to be so historical, but then you've got people from different colors.
You're colorblind to it, to what the history is, which is, on one hand, good that they're just doing it, and people love it, obviously, because it's massive. But for me, it was just something I couldn't over. Maybe that's bad. Maybe that's just conditioning on my part, growing up with whitewash TV that we kind of had back in the day, that you got used to a certain way of things. It's weird.
So I guess homework for you and I then, Eddie. We're going to watch episode 1 of Bridgerton.
Even if it wasn't any of that,
my god, I
still probably wouldn't watch it, because it is about love, relationships, who's dating who's cheating on who.
Let's watch the first episode then for next week.
I reckon, you guys are going to watch 10 to 15 minutes and just say, "Oh, fuck this, man."
No, because we both watched the first episode of The Crown, and we actually
both watched. The Crown is different, though.
It was good. Like, I feel bad. I haven't. We said we were going to watch it.
Have you watched The Crown
over Christmas?
I've watched.
No, because there was so much other stuff going on over Christmas to watch. Right, So before we started recording, we were talking about shares, Eddie.
Yeah.
This is a very good example of why share dealing is a very, very bad thing, right? So Anne Hathaway and Gerard Leto are starring in WeWork Collapse series. So I don't know if you remember WeWork.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, you do. So did you listen to the podcast? Yeah. So that's where I listened to it last year. So WeWork was this company that got set up to essentially rent out office space in a way that was very different from how it was being done. Don't ask me to tell you why, because I can't actually quite remember. But it was meant to be very, very innovative,
like a shared office space type thing.
No, it wasn't shared office space. It was basically renting out office space and stuff, right? But it was done in a way that was very different from how it had been done before. And essentially, they built this entire empire that's people made millions upon hundreds of millions. This guy was seen as a visionary CEO, but the whole thing was built on a pack of lies. And there was no real money there. And when it all came crumbling down, it took everyone with him.
Yeah, but he walked away with a nice large sum.
Oh, they always do, though, don't they? The people who are doing the con, that's their whole job. So this actually, I'm really excited for, because this should be a really good story. The podcast was riveting to listen to.
So is Jared Leto going to be the?
I would imagine
Snake?
so.
There is something slimy about him. He's
no,
not
no. But snakes aren't slimy. These guys are very likable, right? They can basically talk you into investing. They have to give you that whole, I'm a really honest guy and I'm going to make you rich.
I'm just talking about him. Just something about him is very pretentious and.
Yeah.
But
so this one I am.
Who's making this?
I was just trying to see where this had landed actually, and it doesn't actually say in here, which is very odd. I'll have to find that out, but no idea where that is. Right. So Game of Thrones. I think we haven't actually spoken about this, but there are like multiple series like in development. Obviously, not all of them are going to get made, but there was a stat that got released quite recently that said since Game of Thrones has ended, and that's like what, a year and a half ago now, HBO has lost 50% of their audience.
Is that regular HBO?
That's probably regular HBO because obviously they've launched HBO Max in the meantime, right?
Which has since doubled its audience because of Wonder Woman, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There is a Game of Thrones animated show in the works. Now, this is like in development, right? So they're still at very early stages. Nothing is official, but it kind of seems like HBO is like looking at every possibility.
Is this what's it? An egg one? I forgot the first name.
An
They're
egg.
like these little mini novellas that he wrote.
Oh, I have no idea. I've only ever read like the main books. I've no idea what the other things that he's written. But it is like a really deep. There is a real deep sort of history there, so I'm sure he's probably able to give lots and lots of advice on this.
I like that idea. I like the fact that there's going to be some sort of animated,
as long as it's
good.
Yeah, and
good
it does.
style.
It say the only thing that's really known about it is that it won't be some child-focused tune. So Game of Thrones is all about like hacking and slashing in the boobs, basically.
Good.
But this will be a HBO Max show, so I'd imagine they're gonna like they'll within the next 5 years there'll be a ton of Game of Thrones shows.
We might as well.
You're gonna get a HBO Max here.
Not for the foreseeable future.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I really want it. It's too much. Too
But
much.
where are you going to watch all those shows, Eddie?
Well, you know how I'm going to watch them.
Yeah, so if it comes here, well, how does that make a difference to you?
I won't be paying. But we might as well fold. No, we might as well fold in. If we're doing animated spin-offs, we might as well do the Tomb Raider and Skull Island as well.
Oh, okay, right. So Netflix, you know how they're being so successful with like their animation style? Not Legendary Studios. I forgot the name of the studios now.
It is Legendary.
Is it Legendary?
Yeah.
Isn't Legendary the ones who do the films for Warner Brothers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. For some bizarre reason, that page is not loading. It's saying it's redirecting me. Essentially, Tomb Raider and Skull Island are being done by Netflix as they call them an anime show. I think some people have been kicking up a fuss about that term. But turning both of those properties into like a weekly TV series. Tomb Raider, I can get. Skull Island.
We've never seen it. It was actually.
No, but
did you ever see Skull Island?
It's a movie about King Kong, right?
Skull Island, I saw Skull Island.
And it was fun. Skull Island was a fun film.
Yeah, it was all right.
Was it?
Yeah. I told you last week, the first Godzilla has its problems, but overall enjoyable. I haven't seen the second one. And Skull Island was fun. It was a lot of fun.
What does the idea of a Tomb Raider
that
action
is
cartoon
more
series
interesting? If they write it decently, then that could be very
that
cool.
has got a lot of potential.
And there's also talk about they're moving forward with the film as well. I think they found a director, I think it was. So the sequel is actually happening still.
There was something weird that I read about the films or heard about the film like this week. Like apparently they're trying to bridge the old films and the new films, like and turn it into a cohesive story or something.
Well, I thought they were bridging.
Oh, sorry, is that the games? Right, yeah.
So she's going to end up where the games begin with the next film.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem to be a stop of an onslaught from like Netflix and their cartoons.
No, man.
No. Right. So I won't dwell too long on the next one, but like Star have now shown their official lineup for Disney Plus in the UK.
Yeah, a lot of good films and a lot of bad films, but still there's enough good films and TV that.
Give me an idea of a bad film.
Oh shit! There's a ton of like Lifetime level romance films that you never heard of, but you look at them, you may recognize an actor or two, but.
I don't know, man. When the guy, I saw a video where he went through. So people must have advanced previews of this already because he had the interface and everything, and he was just scrolling through it, like recounting up the names, right?
The news I saw just had the whole posting of all the.
No. This guy actually had like a Disney Plus interface where he was actually scrolling through like all the icons, and he was just reading them all out.
They're testing it in some European country.
No. This was a UK guy because he goes, "This is on the UK site." So there must be like advanced testers who have had like previews and
Tester.
stuff. Yeah.
Tester,
Wait,
yeah.
wait, wait, hold up. So just bring me up to speed
Oh,
very
okay.
quickly.
So, Disney Plus.
Yep.
They're adding a new channel. You know, there are channels on Disney Plus where you can watch Marvel stuff, Marvel channel,
Yep.
Pixar channel, Disney Animation, History, or Geography, one of the whatever's. Now they're adding one called Star, and that's where all the Fox stuff's going to be on.
Ah, right. That's with
So
the
all those
okay.
Fox films, not everything. They've still got stuff they add every month, but a shit ton of Fox films and a shit ton of Fox TV shows. All gonna be on there.
And
Next month, this month.
Yeah, this month. And it also looks like, oh, so I should say, so that's 75 shows and 230 movies are dropping day one. Like stuff you got like all the 24s there, like Lost, How I Met Your Mother, like all the old good stuff that
Buffy.
if you just want to, like Buffy's there, if you want to just binge watch like an old show, it's going to have a lot of stuff there. The X-Files is there as well.
Jeez,
Just like a whole, like that's what excites me, right? That all that legacy content and it being there in like its entirety in most cases. And then you look at the films, man, there is so much of like cheesy 80s and 90s films there that I was like, I want to watch that, I want to watch that. Like another like Stakeout, I haven't seen that in years.
I noticed that.
And I was like, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Never ever write off like legacy content, man. It also looks like it's going to be the home of where all the Hulu exclusives go, right? So they're also dropping Big Sky, Hailstorm, which I believe is like a Marvel
Hellstrom.
Hellstrom, right? Love Victor, which
Already
is like
cancelled.
which has got like an Hailstorm or Love Victor.
Hellstrom.
Okay, Hellstrom. Because Love Victor was like an 8.5 on IMDb. I was like, what the hell is this? And Solar Opposite. So, you know, like when we see, oh, there's a Hulu exclusive coming out, but there's no one to show it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is where these are going to drop now in the UK.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, Disney Plus, if it wasn't worth it before, definitely is now.
It is now. There is obviously a price rise coming with this, but it's minuscule because Disney Plus was already really cheap. And I have seen so many people bitching about, oh, I don't want this extra content. I don't want them to put the price up. You're like, come on.
That's like when we spoke about it last week, but obviously no one heard. But once news broke about Peacock in the States buying the WWE network, and the network's going to be folded into Peacock, which is Salem, the NBC, all of their content, and now they're going to have the whole WWE library. A lot of people were bitching about, oh no, my network's going away. It's all no, you're spending $9.99 for just watching wrestling, but now you can spend $9.99 for all of that plus hundreds of films and TV. So why are you bitching? I don't get the moaning of that.
Yeah, I know. Some people just like to bitch and moan, honestly.
Crazy.
Right. Potentially the most exciting news though. Yeah. So you know we spoke a while ago that there was like some sort of Buck Rogers project in the work. We didn't know whether it was a film or a TV show. So now we've had it confirmed it is a TV show, and George Clooney and his company are going to be involved. So apparently George Clooney will be like an executive producer, but apparently he is also being lined up to star in the show. I don't think he'll be Buck Rogers. No, he won't be Buck Rogers because, like I said, he is too old.
Who knows, though? He might have grown up with this and think like, this is my dream. I finally get to be Buck Rogers.
With Aaron Gray as like he's as the Wilma Daring. No, it's not Wilma Daring. Is that her name? No, that's from Scooby Doo. I can't remember.
Was this the one that had the robot? It was like biddy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I think that was obviously a 70s thing, right? They wanted to follow Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and have a robot.
You know what? Yeah. I never ever seen this show.
You've never seen the 70s.
You've never heard of Buck Rogers in the whatever 21st century.
No, was I like this just like passed me by or something?
Hey, you must have watched this when you were like a child.
There was like hardly any other sci-fi on TV. This stuff stood out.
I don't remember.
I remember watching this like as a 5 or 6 year old kid.
Ton of it.
And even older.
In fact, I remember the word, the noise that the robot made.
My stepmom must have locked me in the cellar when this was on because I don't remember any of it. All right. Fair enough.
So yeah, that's coming. It could be fun.
This is going to be, this is obviously the property that Star Wars is based upon, or not based upon, but rather created because George Lucas couldn't buy the rights. So there is a lot of stuff that you can do here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we don't know where it's going to go yet, so, or do we?
Actually, That would be. I would imagine that's an NBC thing, right? That's going to be.
Yeah, they probably got the rights, isn't it? They probably got
because it is owned by. I think it's Universal that owns that. Yeah, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century for NBC.
So Peacock.
Yeah, it'll be a Peacock thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mini news.
Sandman casting news. Right. So I don't know a lot about the Sandman. All I know is that I'm going to want to watch it because it's a Neil Gaiman property and it sounds pretty damn cool.
Have you got Audible?
I have not, no.
Simon, you've got it. Have you? No, you didn't get it either.
No, I didn't get it yet.
There's a cool audiobook out of Sandman. It came out last year. We reviewed it on the DC vs. Marvel podcast. And that really does a good job of laying the groundwork if you're new to Sandman. He's basically the Sandman, the god of sleep. He's an ancient god. And his siblings are god of death and all of these other ancient, but it's hard to explain because it is a weird little emo inspired world. But the idea of it, how they're going to bring this into live action is what fascinates me because it is such a surreal, psychedelic, dark, occultist world. How they're going to visualize that is just going to be very interesting.
So they've just announced Tom Sturridge, who actually, I've just been looking at his credits. I don't think I've watched anything that he's actually been in. But also, it's going to have as the ruler of the ruler of hell in Sandman is going to be Gwendolyn
Christie.
Christie, I couldn't remember what her surname was. I do think she's a pretty cool actress, actually, especially after seeing her in all those years in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And when you essentially add like her title, the ruler in hell, because she is a very large, tall woman who could essentially be very intimidating.
Yeah, so there's I didn't realize, quite a lot of books, aren't there?
Oh, this has been around for forever.
Yeah, like 89.
Yes, DC property. But it doesn't really, for the most part, take place in the DC superhero stuff. It's its own little pocket.
Right, and the very last piece of news before we finish off with the MCU stuff is Zack Snyder, the Justice League, as confirmed for release on 18th of March on HBO Max. International release, no details.
Doesn't matter. Month and a half. Finally be out of the way.
Yeah. So I wonder when we're going to get like a proper actual trailer. Probably like this month, right?
Don't know whether I want to see any more.
Whether you want to or not, it doesn't mean that they're not going to, right?
Oh yeah, sure they will. Obviously, they're already releasing new images and stuff, but
yeah,
I'll try not to watch any more trailers. But
you have to. No, you have to watch trailers so we can talk about it. That's your job, Eddie.
Wait, why? Okay,
because I want to be as surprised by new footage as I can be. For as much of it as I can be,
aren't they putting in like a whole load of new footage? Yeah. Even a 2-minute trailer, you're not going to get everything.
Do you know the ways I'm good at figuring little things out, and I don't like doing that.
Kind of been deleted from your memory, so like you're kind of going in fresh. Because for me, that's how it is.
Fresh from what?
I'll be looking forward to seeing a new trailer.
Yeah, the trailer gets you excited to want to watch the film.
I'm already there.
How many times have you seen it since?
Seen it since the last one,
the original.
The original.
Oh God, I've only seen it twice altogether.
You've seen it twice, and there's that twice on top of the cinema.
No, cinema, and then I gave it another go at home and decided, nah, this is bad.
Don't lie, you went back to the cinema, didn't you? you went by yourself, innit? First walk was with us. And then it was by yourself.
You were like, it cannot be as bad as I thought it was.
But no, it ain't because of that version. It's because I want to enjoy this newer version I want to be as surprised as I can when I finally sit down and watch it. With the sequences that I haven't seen and surprise characters. Because they're going to throw in. I already know that there are going to be certain other new characters in this. But I want to be surprised at the way they look.
How much footage have they said anything about?
Yeah, it's like over half the movie. It's a whole bloody massive new. It's a shit ton of new shit. It's like what, 4 hours? It's 4 hours, Salem.
Yeah. So what are they doing? 2 parts? Are they doing it? Or
they decided it's going to do it in 1 4-hour.
Fucking egg, man.
Splurge.
Yeah, but it's like you can pause it whenever you want. Stop. Go for a drink.
We should do a Zoom watch. So like we're just watching it.
Thinking about it.
So we just watch it on our screens. And we should do everyone's reactions.
Yeah, we should do that with the Marvel stuff as well, Mo. Maybe Because you know that has that share feature on Plus.
Yeah, we could do.
Yeah, just like record
Yeah,
our.
even tell us to
Yeah,
Reactions.
but it's like it's
Oz
it's
is
like,
never available, man. He's too busy.
it's
He's
like trying to
never around.
coordinate a 2-hour slot.
Yeah, I'm easy.
All right. Okay.
So, anything else? Or is that it?
That's it from a news point of view.
Okay. So, of course, we got a rewatch the MCU. I'm curious to hear what Sam's got to say, how much of he remembers from these films and how much sticks out. So we decided that we're just going to do a rewatch of the whole MCU movie saga over the last 10 plus years. So
wait.
Iron Man 1 and Incredible Hulk.
So one film a week.
Yeah, but for now we're starting with 2.
Oh. Okay.
So Mo, you want to start with Iron Man or Hulk? Start with Iron Man.
Well, start with Iron Man, right? Because that's the first one. The one that basically set the tempo, was the template for every film that was to come afterwards.
2008.
2008. So, honestly, I enjoyed this film, but at the same time, I felt like it is showing its age and it is like creaking down the sides a little bit. But like overall, the
Still
film
enjoyable.
is still an enjoyable film. It's like a really great sort of like introduction into this whole saga, but you don't get any idea of the epicness that is about to sort of like be unleashed through the entire series.
For
But you
me-
can tell they were thinking very far ahead.
For me, I think the showing its age is partly down to, some of it is because it's 2008. Like that's a long time ago. It's crazy. But I think it's more just the fact that they just didn't have the money. Like this was a brand new studio. You have to remember that they didn't have the billions behind them that they have now.
Apparently it was a make or break, right? Essentially, like
2 films. These 2 films. This and a Hulk film together.
It's like if they couldn't get this done and it was a flop, this was the end.
Yeah, and they were using a character that general population didn't know.
Yeah,
comic book people know who Iron Man is, but he wasn't. They couldn't get, they didn't have the rights to X-Men or Spider-Man, so they had to.
And not only that, they were using Robert Downey Jr., who hadn't been a big actor for a long time, who had a really bad track record for like scandal after scandal. The insurance companies like weren't sort of keen to insure him, and even people were saying they're not. They don't think he's the right fit. Like, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. But it all paid off.
Yeah, but it's still a great sort of like action spectacle for what they were able to do for the budget, and they've introduced like mainstays for like the entire series.
Yeah. So, what do you remember of the first Iron Man?
Back then, I was at the Met Film School, and when this dropped, I was like, I remember, I don't think what I recall, I wasn't too impressed by the trailer, but when I watched the movie, I really, really enjoyed it. Again, what you guys just said, it's fascinating just to think about where it started and where it's gone. And no one in their right mind could have predicted, that vision. No one could have. Like, whoever would have, if somebody said to you, like, this one movie is going to create so many other superhero movies, and it's going to take you down this crazy adventure, you wouldn't have believed it. You would have said, nah, man, definitely not.
I would have made,
thought, this is it.
I would have made Robert Downey Jr.
When the second one hit, it wasn't good. I still haven't seen the second Iron Man.
Haven't you?
Nah.
Oh, it's weird. All right. Well, we'll get to that next week. That's next week.
Yes, yeah. But I think if the only weak thing about this is potentially like the baddie, right? Again, it's just another person in another sort of like.
Yeah, he's a reflection of the hero, which is a typical thing that paint by numbers superhero things do, where the bad guy is exactly like the good guy.
Yeah.
But but beyond that, it's Jeff Bridges, so there's still a bit of gravitas there to kind of make it work.
Yeah, and we've also got to mention Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, despite like what she's doing, like in her business life, I thought she was pretty good in this film, right? And I think she does have one of the best lines in this film, right? Where she's telling, where she's sparring with like the woman that Tony has like spent the night with. Yeah, and she goes to Gwyneth Paltrow. Do you still do everything that Tony wants you to do? And she goes, yes, I do everything Tony needs, including taking out the garbage.
One thing that's a shame is that I still reckon if Terrence Howard wasn't such a greedy bastard in his negotiations, he would have been so much better to keep going on as War Machine. Because I love Don Cheadle as an actor overall, better actor, but I just never found him suited to the Rhodey role. I don't know why, but he just never. Terrence worked better for me. So it's a shame he never came back.
So am I right in thinking who was the executive producer? Didn't he just say we'll just replace him with another black guy? No one will notice. Isn't that like legendary? Like what the thought process was? Yeah,
but that is the character though. So you have to.
Wait, who was the original character, Eddie? Who was supposed to be?
Terrence Howard. You know the War Machine character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence Howard was the actor. You forgot him already.
He was only in one film.
Yeah, that's the point.
Oh, right. Oh, yes, of course. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, and he was really passionate about it. Apparently, he was actors always say that they were a fan of the characters they play, but he seemed genuine with it.
But like, you know how we say, like you saying it's a negotiation issue, and from what I remember, apparently was it Avid Anand, something like that. The guy who was executive producer, so not Faye, it was somebody else who was like the architect for this whole thing, right?
It wouldn't have been Avid because he's Sony.
Essentially, he was such a famous penny pincher.
He was. He got more money than Robert in that first film.
No, not the actor. The essential. I don't know if he was bankrolling it. He was the executive producer, whatever. Essentially, this guy, like, he wouldn't even have food at the premieres. He would he'll get people to go out and buy crisps and stuff. He was like such a penny pusher. If money did not have to be spent, he would not allow it to be spent. Yeah. In one way, that's worked well, right? They managed to get this whole franchise up and running.
But yeah, apparently he was paid more than Robert Downey in his first film.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's crazy. But yeah, he bitched and moaned when he lost the part for the second one. Bitched and moaned about it, like, boycott this film.
I bet if he regrets that now, right? If he just say like, I guess Robert Downey Jr. He probably played the long game, right? He said, right, I'm not going to make much money out of this film and the next one, but like at some point,
that's where
it's always puzzled me, right? Why these actors just don't think. You know, like if he stuck with it, who knows where it would have taken him?
It's a massive. Yeah, well, there's about to be a War Machine Disney Plus show, isn't it? So, and he would have been employed in massive. Even though he did have success in that Fox show, was it Empire or some shit? I forgot what it's called.
There is a show called Empire.
Yeah, he was leading that, which was massive for a while. But still, the kids though, man, that's the future. Got to appeal to the kids. He missed out on that. So moving on to the Incredible Hulk. No, actually, no. This is what year was it? 2008 as well.
So 2008 as well.
Yes. So go on, Mo. How do you feel?
So you know what? This was a better film than I remember it to be. In fact, while I was watching it, I was actually really enjoying it. I was like, actually, I don't know whether it's because I've seen Iron Man more times. I don't think that's the case. I'm sure I've seen them the same amount of times. But I was enjoying Edward Norton as the Hulk. I enjoyed the plot. I love Liv Tyler. I mean, she didn't have a lot to do. She played the quintessential sort of like human girlfriend who really is just there as to be part of the scenery, right? It's to show like how extraordinary that these superheroes actually are. But I just thought the whole thing worked together. I thought Tim Roth was a right old bastard.
He was a ticket. It didn't make sense for me, Roth being there. Like, well, this is the American military, but you got the English guy working for you. It's like, what is this organization supposed to be? Like, William Hurt was good, but yeah, he was actually really good. So it's gonna be good to see. He's meant to be coming back for something or other.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
The only downside, there's two things I'll say about this film from a downside. Again, they fall into a trap of the enemy, the end bad guy is just another Hulk.
Yeah.
And there was a bit in the middle of the film where Edward Norton or the Hulk stays at Liv Tyler's place, and he goes, "I have to leave very early in the morning, and I've got to just walk to the train station or bus station or whatever and get out." The very next scene is them taking a lovely stroll to like a college campus, just standing around. Like she's like untucking his shirt, and you're kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? And then all of a sudden they're surrounded by military, right? And you're kind of like, whoa. But having said that, there are 42 minutes worth of deleted scenes on the Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah, because I was having a look last night. I was thinking there must be something in between that sort of like would set the scene for this, right? So I might go and watch those. 42 minutes is an intense amount to watch, but there is also a whole other alternate opening.
What besides him being in Brazil doing the whole
no, I think it's before that. So you know, like how in the film you see flashbacks to his origin story, which is so cool. I completely forgot that was there. I was like watching it, I was like, that's actually a really good opening.
Yeah, you just get straight to it rather than
because you know the origin and you've watched the old Lou Ferrigno show, who actually had a pretty good cameo in this as well. But you kind of knew that. With this, he's like in some frozen wasteland. He's basically in a truck with somebody. He gets out of the truck. He walks out into like the woods. Essentially gets a gun out, and it's almost like he's implying he's about to like just shoot himself. But he turns into the Hulk, and basically, like the whole ice around him, he breaks it all, and the scene just ends. So I think this was a much better opening.
I'm actually watching the trailer as you guys are talking about it, and it is bloody. I even forgot there was another Hulk.
Jeez.
The only real bad thing about this, and it's not a real bad thing, is some of the CGI in places is very ropey, especially that final scene. They really look like they're too cheap, and it's 2008, right? CGI has come on a long way in the last 12 years.
I don't think we can use that excuse when you remember how long ago Avatar was made, and then even before that, fucking Jurassic Park. Like Jurassic Park defied logic of how. Yeah. Even when I watch it now, it defies logic of how good the effects are.
Yeah, Jurassic Park is a really good one to go to, because even when I look at Jurassic Park, I think to myself, back in then, the CGI was so
early 90s.
Yeah, but you're trying to make like dinosaurs, whereas this is like these two beasts that are trying to fight.
Abomination was a dinosaur, pretty much. Like, come on. But yeah, the only jarring thing for me is the fact that it's Edward Norton, like, who is good in this, but because he disappears and they replace him, it just kind of makes it feel like it's some other thing.
Was it his usual thing of there being like a lot of tension on set and him like demanding things? And
he's just an artiste, you know. He's not. I don't think he plays well in that confined of committing to like 10 years worth of film.
Which is a really odd thing, right? Because surely in his contract they would have had him commit to like X number of films.
Don't think with those first ones they probably did, because I don't think they knew yet or had the confidence yet to be able to do that.
But again, you know how just if you go back to watching this film for the first time, that scene with Robert Downey Jr., like at the end, that was like some next level stuff. You're like, oh my god, like what's going on here?
Wait. Okay, so wait, I need to stop you guys there. So wait, was Downey Jr. in the Hulk at the end?
After credits,
end credit sequence. Like he comes in and he's basically talking to the general. And he says and he's saying we're putting a new team together or something.
Yeah, the Avengers Initiative.
Okay.
Well, no, he doesn't say that, but they say that in the end of Iron Man. Nick Fury comes in and says,
underappreciated edition.
Honestly, it absolutely is, because I was expecting, like, put this on last night. I was thinking this is going to be a 2-hour slog. I actually had a really good time with it.
I remember watching it with you, Eddie, at the cinema. I thought it was all right. I remember it's kind of actually saying, you know what,
kind of a small version of what Godzilla versus King Kong's going to be, like on a smaller scale. Just these two muscle man things just destroying everything.
But
it's just fun.
Taking this and taking the one that came out, was it in 2004? Three. And that was really bad, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So I actually have had the thought that I might want to go and watch that now, just to like compare.
You to. I
want him to watch it as well.
Because I have seen it before, because I got the DVD. And the only thing I really remember about it is like Hulk doesn't turn up until like the last 15 minutes or something, and they've got like that whole comic book editing. No, he only comes in right at the end, doesn't he?
No.
The real action.
The big action, but he is sprinkled through.
And it's got that comic book frame editing thing going on. That actually, I remember that looking really cool.
The only thing that I remember was the Hulk dogs.
Yep.
I'd completely forgotten, but I vaguely remember that now.
Yeah, when he drops off what's her face at home, Betty. Yeah, and the dogs come and attack him. Yeah, and they bite his nuts at one point.
Yeah.
It's not-
Do you one question though? Do you feel it's a real shame that they've not brought Liv Tyler back in for like a cameo or any sort of like
I've
storyline?
never understood that. I don't know. I've never heard her say anything that she doesn't want to do anymore.
Yeah, because it would kind of make because now that Black Widow's gone.
Well, what's she gonna? How's she gonna replace Black Widow? What? She's gonna
No,
suddenly become a superhero?
No, I'm not saying that. No, because she had a love story with the Hulk, with Banner, right? So now that character is gone, there is now a gap that they could sort of bring her in for. But because he doesn't have his own film, he's just a buddy in other people's films.
Yeah.
I guess there's not enough time. But I would like to see like
something,
like even if it's like a scene or two, like just to like.
Even if it's just somebody throwing a folder on the table in front of him saying, we've been watching her and you got a photo of her drinking coffee. Something.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But maybe they will when they bring William Hurt back for, I can't remember what film it is. I don't know. It might be, I don't know. I can't remember which
William
one.
Hurt, who is he the general?
Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, because he's already been back once, hasn't he? He was in which film? He was in Civil War.
Yeah. Apparently he's coming back again.
Yeah. And the one other thing that stood out is Ty Burrell, right? Before this show, I don't think I don't think Modern Family was a thing. So the guy has gone from this to like being in the most successful like sitcom like on TV for over a decade.
That cowardly boyfriend.
But again, there is stuff in the trailer because I was watching the trailers last night. There are whole big scenes with him. Like that aren't in the film where he's actually talking to Banner and stuff.
Oh, so maybe that's part of those 40-something minutes worth of...
Yeah.
They don't really do director's cut, do they, Marvel?
Marvel's... I don't think there's been a single director's cut.
Yeah.
But you would kind of think they are probably like in the position where they don't have to rush these things to a certain degree. They aren't forced to make certain decisions. So what ends up on the screen...
It would be nice, though, just to see all that stuff cut in, just to flesh.
Well, no, a lot of times you cut scenes because it's not relevant or it's slowing the pacing down, right? Very rarely do you actually have like genuine stuff.
When you have your own streaming service, it's kind of nice to have that little bonus footage. What's the theatrical cut? Or let's just watch the indulgent cut.
Yeah, but sometimes the indulgent cut can be just too long and boring, right? You don't want to ruin that. Plus, I think also, do you remember Josh Whedon complaining that Feige basically forces you to do certain things in films? Like, you have to put scenes in because of like a film that's coming down like further down the line.
Do as you're told.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. The more I hear about Whedon, the more respect I'm losing for him. Did you hear that story that came out in a week? That what's his name? Paul Bettany was talking about how he wanted Vision to have a penis.
Oh, I did see something about that, but I didn't really pay it much attention.
And the special effects guys were like, we can't, when he's unveiled in Ultron. And they're like, I want him to have a dick. And they're like, no, we can't give him a dick. This is
Hold on. Marvel. So what do they want? Like the outline in his shorts or whatever?
No, because he was naked, isn't it? When he first emerges.
Yeah.
And it's like, he has to have a dick. I want to see him a dick. Give me concept art. And that means I'm like, fine. And then he came in and saw the art on the wall of all different versions of him having a dick. And he was like, nah, this, okay, I was...
Hold on, why would they even humor him? Surely somebody from Disney or Feige would say, yeah, that's never going to happen.
But yeah, Bettany was like, thank God for that.
well, don't forget, he like did the first one, and the first one was a huge success. And it was like, okay, well, he's got to do the second one. So just give him the artwork. Just show him the artwork.
It makes no sense, though. He's a robot. Why would a robot need a reproductive system? It's fucking crazy.
To get rid of, to like change his oil, right? Right. So next we've got Iron Man 2, 2010. Quite possibly the worst film of the series.
I've seen it a bunch. It's not a travesty. It just doesn't hold up compared to what was before, even after. But a lot of people have a hard time with 3 as well, but I still think it's a decent film.
3 is good.
Yeah.
I was actually watching some trailers of 2 and 3 last night, actually after watching out, because I was actually getting really excited about getting into this now. Maybe because I enjoyed the Hulk so much, but there are a lot of TV spots for like Iron Man 3 and not many for 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Next week, Iron Man 2. Yep. We're just going to keep doing 1. It's kind of nice doing 2.
No, one at a time, because you stretch it out. Because there's a lot of other stuff to watch, Eddie.
There is.
Right, folks. If you want to get in touch with us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to tweet at us, we are Talking at the Movies. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are at Talking at the Movies.
And guys, don't forget to YouTube. Even if you don't use YouTube, you only listen to us. You only want to hear our dulcet tones. Still, just show us some love. Go to YouTube, look us up, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. Even make a little comment saying you love the show. Anything, it helps us out.
And I should probably take this opportunity to say, obviously on our Twitter, I did put out the fact that we are doing an MCU rewatch, and I did get a reply saying that, sorry, at Kenzel18 said, absolutely love the MCU personally, have done all of the movies in nearly one sitting, have fun with it. That is crazy.
That is mad.
That is absolutely crazy in one sitting. Now, when I did ask him, it turned out one sitting was over 4 days, but still, even in 4 days, that's a lot of films to watch.
It's camping out. Doesn't have a job, apparently. So from me, Reese.
And me, Mo.
When your boy Asylum.
See you guys next week.
Peace.
Later.